your hands. Wave them at them bitches hating on you with their friends. Girl, you got it.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or if you're new here, welcome. So today I'm going to be doing a story time, which I've not done in this channel before. So today we're going to be talking about my time at okay. We're going to be talking about my time at an eating disorder house called Center for Discovery. I'm sure some of you have heard it or not. Well, let's get into it. Let's talk about it. My brain is a little fogged up from this because it was back in 2021. But we're gonna make this work. We're gonna try to figure out and remember all of this. Okay, so we're gonna use fake names, of course, as protocol, you know, as per usual. Let's get into it. Okay, let me stop babbling. Like, let's get to the story. I do have ADD, so like I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, this happened. I mean, okay, let's go backwards, but bear with me. So let's say it was back in 2021. I happened to really, it was one of my lowest points. Back in May, I'm just gonna do this backstory, y'all. So back in May, my grandpa passed away. He was like my love and everything like that. And I last saw him when I was 5. And I went from Ethiopia and I came to the United States, and I was really looking forward to see him because the next time I could see my family is in 2026. And so I was like, oh my goodness, like it was the year that I graduated, and then it was just not it. That summer I worked at a camp, and I was always having anxiety, panic, and I was just going all over the place. And then I started really focusing on how I look and everything like that, body wise, and I developed bulimia. If bulimia is when you eat in one setting and then make yourself throw up, which that had happened with me. And right now I'm an open book. I don't mind sharing the story. I'm much better now, but that's what happened. And I then went to school for college at TJC, and then I didn't do well. I did well with school, with grade wise, but a lot was happening, and I went into a manic, or like an episode, as you can say, and I had to drop out. So because I dropped out, I had a year of recovering, getting better, and doing what I need to do to be able to go back to school and be a better version of myself. So I went to this eating disorder house called, Center for Discovery. And I'm laughing because that's where I call a mansion in hell, or something like along those lines. I don't know. Honestly, I'm very grateful for the opportunity I had to do that because a lot of people don't. But I did not have a good time there. It was just a lot that went on. It didn't help that majority of the girls had, trigger warning, but anorexia, and I had bulimia. And so my brain, of course, was fogged up with that. Like, really, like, do I belong here? Like, my brain was telling me, do I belong here? No, I don't. Like, I could eat, like, because you have to eat 3 meals, 3 snacks a day, and like I was able to eat. Like, it's just about what I do when I go to the toilet. But they had the doors open, like cracked, and they had to have somebody standing right there while you used the restroom, which was like, oh. And so yeah, so that was happening. And basically we all started getting along. So there was 10 of us, 5 from different states, and the other 5 were from Texas, from different cities. And so I met this girl, let's name her, What's a favorite name of mine? Let's name her. That is, it's not really a favorite, but I just can remember this. Lola. Let's name her Lola. Lola came in after, because it's like an in and out thing. You stayed there for about 2 months or so. And so they were doing yoga. And guys, it was chair yoga upstairs. They were doing chair yoga because we could not do like types of exercises and stuff like that. It was like you had to have the privileges to even do Zumba, or not Zumba, but Just Dance on the Wii. Like it was like a whole bunch of like you can't. It was a lot of strict rules. Again, I'm trying to remember. This was 2021. This was years back. It's 2025 now, so it's like should not be fogged up, but I've suppressed that memory in the back of my head because y'all see why in the end of the story. But so basically Lola came in and I was here. Oh yeah, I really explored my inner child when I was there as well. And so I was drawing and painting and stuff like that. I didn't want to do chair yoga. Like I was like, what is that? Like, are we in a retirement home? What is going on? I would rather paint and draw downstairs. I just didn't want to do that. But the rest of the girls and them were up there. And then Lola was new and she came into the house when this was happening. And I was like, hey, like I'm a very a cheerful person and stuff, and I like to welcome people that are new because it could be like nerve-wracking and stuff. And so I was like, hey, what's your name? And it's just like Lola and everything like that. And I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, where'd you coming from? Like, where are you coming from? And then she was like, oh, Seattle, Washington. I was like, Seattle? And y'all know I have family, like from previous videos. I have family in Washington and stuff like that. And so I have a special heart, like a special place in my heart for Washington. It's my second home and I love it so much. And so I was like, what? And I was like, I have family up there, like where exactly and stuff like that. Then she went into detail of like, because like, you know, when you say Houston, necessarily I don't live in Houston, but people that don't live in that area, you just say the big city of it. So she was like, oh, it's this particular place. And I was like, oh, okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. And so she lived there, and then I was like, yeah. And so of course she was like a little bit shy at the beginning, but I really like warmed her up and was being nice and stuff like that. And I was like, well, the rest of the people up the rest of the house is upstairs doing yoga. She's like, okay, I'll check it out and meet the rest of them. So she went upstairs, and I was like, I can't believe it, like she's from Washington, because like I said it before, excuse me, there was 9 of us in the house. Now there's 10. And so, like I said, it was split in the middle. Now that Lola came into the house, that there was 5 from different states, and then the other 5 were from Texas, including me. So, yeah, so she came into the building or the house, and this house is a mansion, by the way, too. And the word triggered was used 1 too many times, 2 too many times, 3 too many times, 3 times, like
quite a few times.
50 times?
More.
100 times?
More.
200 times?
More.
500 times?
Probably.
It was used so much that I was like, okay, like I'm tired of this word. And I didn't realize like it is a safe haven for people that's in there. But I'm like, when you go into the real world, y'all, like y'all gonna get triggered. Like things are gonna happen where it's like, what are y'all gonna do? And so, but they're like, oh, it's a safe haven and everything. And so on the weekdays we have our dietitians, our therapist, and who else that come in on the weekends? And it's the doctor comes in on Thursdays. And then we have they're called counselors, but they just watch over us 24/7. So they're on weekday to weekends. And so only weekends we can turn on the TV. We finally can relax because we don't have anything we're doing on the weekdays, because again, the therapists are not there, dietitians are not there. However, of course the nurses are going to be there, and they're doing different shifts. But weekdays is really when we're busy, and we have like study time and all that stuff. And so Lola and I really got close, and she was also close with the other girls there. And so we were all like, we got close. Like, we we got so close that we we got so close that we just know things that we shouldn't know about one another, because you really know people's true selves and true characters when you live with them, and it's not like we had time to leave and stuff. It was 24/7 in people's faces, like each other's faces, like we were there. And oh my god, it was too much. I just needed a break. But there was levels. There's one level, two level, three, four, level four, level five, fifth level of like privileges you can have. And of course in the beginning it's like you can't even go outside, you can't even walk and stuff like that. And so finally when you get to the second level, you get to have a little break and you get to walk down the street all the way back with the nurse or somebody. Okay, let's get to the parts where I really it went crazy. And so one week it just went ballistic. One week we also can only do a night calls and Zoom only at nighttime before bed. But so basically Lola was not doing well. She started being like very suicidal. She started going off and like going crazy, let's say. Like probably banging her head, I don't know, like just a whole bunch of things. And again, I really locked into my inner child. I also went crazy, by the way, too, but we'll get it. It's like you get stir crazy there, so like you can't blame Lola. Like it was like I was also wanting to leave, and then I was like, get me out of here and everything like that. And so basically I was painting and drawing again, because honestly I made about like 50,000 painting canvas, and they still have some up on the wall at the place. If I go back and see it, they're probably there. I low-key want it back, but that's fine. So I'm painting and doing like whatever I need to, wherever to keep me busy. And the others are like, oh my gosh, that's so triggering, that's so triggering. And I'm just like, is she bothering y'all? Like, is she doing it? And it's like, they were like, oh my gosh, like why is she saying all that and everything, because she was just saying a whole bunch of things. I'm like, okay, like let's just like ignore it. And so they were getting upset about that, and then she ran out, and Lola ran out and everything, and the manager of the house had to go after her. And then I remember the manager like had them stargazing and on the street and just like really calming down and stuff. And after that she became like on 24-hour watch because of those those allegations or things that she was making for herself. And so yeah, and so at dinner time she was like, hey Mackie, are y'all mad at me? And I'm like, I wouldn't be mad, okay, because it's honestly like I feel bad, like I wish to be there for you and everything like that. But like I'm like, if we're nobody should be mad at her. Like, so I was like, no, like nobody's mad, because she came after everybody ate already dinner, and so she was eating, and so I went to throw away some things or something. I was like by the trash or the dishes, and she asked me that because I don't know, like I like I said, I was her friend in the house, so she asked. And I was like, no, nobody's mad at you, like don't worry. And boy was I wrong. Was I wrong.
And if I'm wrong, then perhaps we're wrong. Figure that shit out for yourselves.
Next morning I saw the tension of like people getting away from her, not really talking to her, and just being plain old mean. And I was like, I don't know, it was like underlined mean. Like it wasn't like to your face, but it was like, I think I know what to about. Like it was like something you do, like that you can't really tell, but you know what's happening. I don't know what that word is called. I know, like, hopefully y'all understand what I'm saying. And so I was like, oh, so are they actually mad? This makes no sense to me because I'm just not used to that. I've always lived with other people, and it's just that's different. And so it was a Saturday, I remember, and yeah, it was a Saturday, and the therapist came, and like I said before, like I said, I cannot talk. Like I said, there was no therapist on weekends. So when one of the therapists came, and let's name him Todd. Yeah. So Todd, so let's name this therapist like Todd. And Todd came in, and he wasn't Lola and my therapist. We actually had the same one, but other people were like had different therapists in that house, and some of them had Todd as a therapist. And so he came in on a Saturday, and I'm like, well, this is unusual for him to come on a Saturday. And so I was like, oh, but so Lola and I were just sitting together, doing things together, because again, like by association, of course, the others are going to be mad at me and not talking to me, or just being a little standoffish. I don't know. And so Todd was like, Todd was there, and I was like, Lola and I were like, and Lola was like, Todd, can we go please talk to you? Can Mackie and I talk to you? And Todd was like, only one at a time. Like, I don't talk to patients twice, like, together. And then Lola's like, no, like, all the house is mad at us. Like, we need to be together and everything like that. Like, what? They're just mad at us. He's like, okay, come on. And so he went outside, and we were trying to like explain like what's going on and how we felt and all that stuff, because again, that's what therapists are there for. Then he got a call, and he answered it and just ignored us. And so we went back inside. We're like, okay, let's wait for him to get off the phone. But then I started getting like irritated about that. Like, I know it's like important things going on, but like it's like, excuse me, would have been fine, but it's fine. So Lola was like, Todd came back inside from that phone call, and then Lola was like, oh, Todd, can we please talk to you? Can we please talk to you now? And then I was like, no, just you, it's fine. Just because I felt the energy being off from Todd. And so Lola went and they talked to him, and I was sitting there alone, and I started having anxiety, and I started having like just needed to get out of here. Like, I'm tired of it. And so I went up the stairs, and then the counselor there was like, what are you doing? You have to be on 24 hours. Like, stop going. And I was like, I just need like 1 hour to myself. Like, just 1 hour. Just please. And no.
What's going on? Doctor.
I'm done. Cut the show. I'm done. Take me off.
No. Like, it just, you have to be with people 24/7 up in your face. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I went back down, and then I just like twiddling on my thumb, like, just waiting for Lola to come back. And so Lola came back, talking with Todd, and I was like, do you want to go to the nurse's office? Because the nurse's office in that house, we liked her. Like, we liked all the nurses except for one of them that were on shift. But she barely was on shift, so like, thank God. But the one we liked really well, like, we got along with and everything, was there. So we're like, let's just go into the nurse's office and hang out there, because clearly nobody really fucks with us at this house. So basically then we were in the nurse's office, and we're chatting it up, we're talking, and hee ha ha, laughing, whatever. And then again, this is a mansion, so like the driveway is pretty long, it's gated, so you don't see cars, by the way. We don't see the outside world for a while. So when I saw a red ambulance, I'm like coming in, I was like, wait, is somebody got hurt back in the house? Like, what happened? I was like, yeah, I just saw an ambulance. And then they were like, and then so they look at the window, they're like, no, like I don't see it. So I'm like, am I seeing things? Like, am I delusional? Like, what's going on? I was like, I saw it. They were like, I don't know. And I was like, and the nurse played it on, like, oh, I don't see it. I don't see it. So we just sit there and we're talking still. We're like, okay, whatever. Like 5 minutes later, we get a knock in the nurse office, and it's Todd with the 2 EMTs, and said, is Lola in here? And I'm like, huh? And Lola started backing up, and then I was like, what are y'all doing? I said, what are y'all doing? And then the nurse, and they're like, Mackie, you need to leave, like go with the rest of the house. And the group, they're going to a different room, you need to leave. And I was like, but what's going on? They're like, leave. So I was like, okay. Like, still like very much like, no, that's like my one friend in this house, like what is going on? So I walk out, and then I'm like at the couch like, I'm not going with the rest of the group. I need to know what's going on with Lola. I'm not going with the rest of the house. And so the counselor's like, okay, like try to like get me to go to come on, like, you know, let's wrap it up. Like, I understand that's your friend, but let's go. But
I don't want to go.
I'm just like, as soon as I was about to get up and go, I see Lola run out, go straight to me. They're like, she's like, Mackie, they're trying to take me, and hugs me. And I'm like, and like tightly and everything. And I was like, what do you mean they're trying to take you? Like, no, like, and I was like, and then they started like coming towards us. I'm like hugging her, and I'm like, no, like, the psych wards don't even care about EDs. Like, they don't, she belongs here. Like, what are y'all doing? And all of this, and like, we're just backing away. And so we then backed away to a wall, and we were like, no, I'm not letting her go. I was like, no, I'm not letting her go, and everything like that. And so they're just like staring at us like, you're gonna have to go. So we're bawling our eyes out, crying. Like, this was like a traumatic moment. It's like they were just like at us, and I'm hugging tightly to her, and they're just staring at us like, y'all need to let go, you need to come with us, and basically saying like she's going to the hospital, you know. I'm like, what?
You cannot be for real. Oh my God, you for real? No, you for fake. No, you for real.
And you remember what I said previously, she had made those remarks about suicide and all that stuff. So I was just holding on to her so tightly, and I just didn't want her to like I didn't want to let go of her, because she belongs here, you know. And so Todd was looking at us, and Lola was like, well, does my parents know? Because her parents, again, is a different state. They're like, my parents know, like, I need to at least call my parents, because again, we don't have our phones or anything, only the line phones. But she was like, I want to call my parents, like, I need to talk to them. And he was like, do you know their number? And she's like, yes. And he's like, okay, I'll let you call on my phone, but she needs to leave, pointing at me. And I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna have to let go of you, because, you know, you need to call your parents and everything. So of course I didn't go with the group of the other group, or the house in this different room. I just went upstairs, and I talked to the counselor, and I was like, I've been in this situation, like, they don't care about EDs over there. They, it's really about other things and stuff like that. I just don't want Lola to go in there. And I'm just like crying about it. And I was like, no, all this stuff that I was saying, because I cared a lot about her. And the nurse told me, well, it's only an evaluation. It's only an evaluation that she's gonna get. If she says the right things, if she says what she needs to say, they won't take her to the psych ward and everything like that. I was like, okay, I really hope, okay. And so I went back downstairs, and she was still backing away from the EMT people, and finally I like held her hand, and I was like, Lola, it's only an evaluation. It's only an evaluation. And then she let go of my hand and went on the stretcher and left to the hospital. And I was like, wow, like, this is my last time seeing her. And again, like I said, we don't have phones. We didn't have anything. So we forgot to exchange social media number. So I'm like, oh, this is really my last time seeing her. And so she left. The next day, Todd came back on Sunday. So it's like, okay, what's going on with him being here this weekend? But okay, so of course they were gonna talk to us about what all happened, of just a debrief basically and everything. And I, of course, sat on a couch that are long, and there's other seats in front of us, like other couches and stuff. But I felt like I had the plague. Like, nobody sat with me. Like, I had to teach the cheese touch from, not Karate Kid, from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Like, I was like, oh, okay. So I'm sitting there alone in this big couch, and then the rest are sitting together and everything. And he was like, okay, usually I don't have rules when we do group therapy and stuff like that, but this time you can't do this, you can't say this, just make sure we steer away from this, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not talking then in my head. And everybody talked, did their piece and everything like that. And then Todd was like, it looks like everybody spoke except for Mackie. And I'm just like, there's a reason I didn't speak. But I was like, okay, I'll say something. So I'm talking. I'm like, I feel like I don't belong here. I feel like alienated, and I just went off, and I was like, this is happening, like, this was too much, and I was just going off about it. And then this girl, let's call her Wannabe. I don't know. Wannabe is like, what was the rules again?
Girl, you girl, girl, you just don't know.
I jumped out of my seat. I'm like, that's it. I'm done. I can't be here anymore. And I went ballistic. I went crazy. And it was just something so simple that she said that I was just holding all this anger and all this madness that I was like, I didn't like that. And so I was like, get me out of here. I want to leave. Again, I'm an adult now. The other half were like teenagers. The other half were adults. Like, that's how it was too. And I was one of the adults there, young adults. And so I was like, I want to get out of here. And before I told the manager, like, sometimes I want to get out. But they were like, that's not a good idea and everything like that. But because I'm an adult, they have to let me go. So it was now the nurse that I didn't really like there, was there. And I was like, get me out of here. Called the manager of the house. And they called, and she was like, okay, we can't make her stay. So it's against the hospital, or it's against the house that she wants to leave, but let her sign things and she can go. I felt such a relief. I was so happy. I was like, they get my phone out of that cage they had it in, and I go and I take an Uber, because again, I'm like 10 minutes away from this place. And so I got a Uber ready for me, and then they had lunch for me, and they're like, you want to eat with the rest of the house? And I was like, no, I would like to eat here by myself and the nurse, and I need to leave. I need to get out. And so I get myself an Uber, and yeah, like, I signed everything and I left. And honestly, today, I don't think that was a good idea. Of course it wasn't, because that place would have helped me so tremendously and everything like that. But it was just a lot going on for me that I couldn't do it anymore. And so, and this was right after I graduated high school as well and everything. Well, I graduated in May, this happened. So no, yeah. Freshman year, let's say it was my freshman year of college. and I dropped out. So then I get when I got my phone back, I get a notification that Lola followed me on Instagram, and I'm like, I guess like I have a unique name and everything, and she found me. But I was like, oh my gosh. And so we had exchanged calls and texts, and she was like, so she was like, hey girl, I'm leaving CFD. So we found out she definitely is leaving CFD. She wasn't gonna be coming back. She's like, but going home, no psych ward. And she's like, I hope we can see each other again in Seattle someday. And I was like, hey, thank God you're not going. I left CFD today, and we will for sure see each other soon. And she's like, and I was like, I have a lot to tell you. And I told her, I gave her my number, and she's like, ooh, should I be scared? And she's like, okay. And I was like, no. And she's like, I'll talk to you later. My flight's about to leave back to Seattle. Like, and I was like, yeah. But she's like, but I'm glad you left, oh my Lord. I was like, me too. I feel relieved. And she's like, yep, same. And then I was like, we both got to leave with exclamation marks. And she said, that place was not helpful at all, for real. Like, let's go. And then I was like, it was not. It was hell in a mansion. Lame-o. She's like, for real. So that was our thing. And then I finally got to go back home to Seattle, and guess what? I saw her, and I met all her friends and everything, and we had a great time. Then every time now I go back to Washington, I go visit her, and so I guess I made a friend out of this place. But yeah, so that was the little background of that story. I missed a lot of details and stuff, but really the main topic and main reason I'm telling you is because of that situation of what happened. But yeah, so if y'all sticked around, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully more story times will come. I do know that, again, my story time that's coming up is spring break, when I go back to spring, of my cousin and I meeting. Hopefully that will come out soon, or hopefully we do it in the spring. But other than that, I will see if I will do other story times, but just stick around for more videos coming out, and thank you. Bye.
Take me, pull me up like an overnight.